Let's make lemonade out of lemons. I just made a video where I was ranting about this printer. I'll share a link down in the description if you want to check that out. Long story short of it, I've had this orange light ever since I set it up, but also one of the two cartridges that came with the printer was a non-instant ink cartridge. It's just a standard HP cartridge. There's HP Instant Ink Ready cartridges and there's an HP standard cartridge. And if you put a standard cartridge into an Instant Ink subscribed printer, it can yield an orange light. It'll still work, but it's an orange light. I don't like warning lights. And it was a cartridge that came with it. I found that interesting. But the lemons out of lemonade is, aside from the other problems on this, I have a depleted black cartridge. That non-instant ink cartridge that came with this, the black one, is depleted. Well, I have stuff I need to print, and this is the first time in my Instant Ink subscription world, and it's not unfair for Instant Ink because I just set this up a few days ago. They've already shipped my intro kit for the enrollment of this into Instant Ink. The cartridges for this, the Instant Ink cartridges for this, they're on their way, and I will say, in my almost 3 years of using Instant Ink, and I've had months where I've printed a lot. I get up to 700 free pages a month when I'm on the free months, and I used a lot of those pages many months. I have never been without a cartridge with Instant Ink because they'll send you two to put in the printer, and then as one runs out, you'll get others. It'll ship before they even run out. They always seem to have kept me with an extra cartridge or two. So I've never had a point where I needed to print something and I ran out of a cartridge until now. But again, not Instant Ink's fault because I just enrolled this, but I have something I need to print. I don't have a cartridge. So I'm thinking this is an opportunity to answer a question that I had. These are the two Instant Ink cartridges that came out of the printer this one replaced. I'm using the same Instant Ink account. I just transferred that account from that printer to this one. So I was wondering if these cartridges are tied to the Instant Ink account or if they're tied to the specific printer, because there is a chip built into these. So in theory, they could program them for the serial number of the printer or something like that. So let's find out. Let me cover my serial number here where I open this door. Let me lower this down. This should open up and give me access to the ink here. I'm going to take this. These were practically full when I pulled them out, so it's a shame to waste. I really don't want to waste them, but it is technically HP's property since they're Instant Ink subscription cartridges. But that carrier has moved over. I'm taking this black one out. I'm wondering if I can use it, so let's take this empty one out, and first let's see the difference here. Yeah, see, this is HP 67, this is 67305, but note the Instant Ink labeling there that is not on this other one. So let's put this in and let's see if it'll work, because I'm sure many people have had this questions. Now I know I would not be able to take this cartridge and take it to Jimmy Joe's house if I knew someone named Jimmy Joe and put it in their printer, but I'm thinking I'm hoping, since I have an Instant Ink account, if it'll allow me to use the cartridge in my existing Instant Ink subscribed printer. Let's find out. Just gonna let this run through its cycle here. You'll hear some clicks, some things like that. Oh, look at this. The orange light has already went off. This is gonna be interesting. I asked support in my very long calls with them about this and its network connectivity issues if I could use these cartridges. The same question I just posed here in this video. Are they tied to the Instant Ink account or are they tied to the specific printer? And they kind of vaguely said, I felt it was an unsure answer. Okay, I just got there may be something wrong. Hold on, I just got a notification. Well, that's a quick answer to a question, also an answer to another one from my previous video about internet connectivity. This is definitely connected to the internet because as soon as I shut that door, it made a couple of noises and that orange light went off. This one started flashing. Don't know how well you can see that, but that one started flashing, and I immediately got an email from Instant Ink or from HP telling me that something was wrong with the ink cartridge. So there we go. You cannot take an Instant Ink cartridge, even if it's from an account that you hold, if you have replaced your printer or if you have multiple printers. Well, I don't know if you have multiple printers on the same account, but I know in this case I only have the one printer and only have one Instant Ink account, and I cannot take the Instant Ink cartridge that had been put in another printer and put it into this one, even though it's practically full. I mean, I had just put this in when that printer gave up the ghost, and this one I know was about the same. Tech support did tell me accurately that they are locked to the specific printer, even if it's the same Instant Ink account. Well, how about this for timing? I just checked my mailbox, and the subscription ink for this printer 5 days ago. I set this up. I actually had the ink before this cartridge ran out today. This ran out just right before I recorded that previous video, and my mail had ran earlier in the day. I just hadn't checked my mailbox. So I have the Instant Ink. Technically, I had it before the ink even ran out in this cartridge. Now that is a subscription that provides exactly what the customer needs. Really good subscription service. Makes me even happier with Instant Ink. So let's see if this is going to be just a black. I suspect, since this is a... Let me set this down before I slice myself. I suspect this is going to be 2 cartridges, not just a black, because this is the first shipment for this. Let me make sure there's no personal information. No, there is not. And there it is. 2 cartridges, the 2 Instant Ink cartridges for this. I only need the black, which is this one. And so there's not a mess up. I have a pen here, and I am going to write 2734E on this. And I'm going to put a 2734 on that. That way I know there's not a mess up. That'll be coming back up. So let's get this one installed. You're here for all of this. So let me get this one installed. Let me try to cover this up. There we go. Get you down here where you can see. I'll give you the whole Instant Ink experience. Assuming I can get into the wrapping. Not that tough. I'm just that weak. Here's the Instant Ink cartridge. Let's compare it. See, just like the other one that I showed. It just says Instant Ink, and it's the 67305, and these are ultra high yield. Even more ink than any of these 3 options, at least from what I've read. Get this installed here. Trying to do it through the camera, that's not going to work, so let me look around. And this should take off the orange light. So, well, it wasn't on, but it shouldn't come on now that this is in there. So I'm just going to let this cycle through. And also, it wasn't just the orange light. There was an exclamation point in the display here with that, I'm assuming, from the other ink, and or it reporting that it didn't have connection, even though I know it did. Why that's, there we go. Paper tray fixed there. But let's do this now. This may take a second because it may print out something that I have to scan since it's a new cartridge. I'm going to lay this one off to the side. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I said that and it sounds like it's about to print something. Normally prints faster, but these are detailed lines that it's printing out because this sheet will be scanned and that's how it's going to align everything. I can go ahead and take this out and discard it. Look at that good dark black. Yeah, that's a full cartridge. And looking up here, I can see, there we go. No more lights here, and we've got full on both cartridges. The Wi-Fi symbol, no exclamation point, no other warning light. Maybe it's redeeming itself. Wouldn't it be funny if all of that weirdness here was just simply because it was a non-Instant Ink cartridge because of the subscription and how weird that they send the black as non-Instant Ink compatible, but that the color was. But we're not done. I have more questions now. If I hit info, is it going to print a report since that light wasn't orange? I see stuff flashing here. Okay, it just took it a second. but it's printing out something. I'm going to raise this since some of this is probably going to have, yeah, it's got the printer serial number information and so on. So let's see. Okay. Now, this is something I want to show you. Let me fold this here. Just printed this. This printer is not connected to the internet, but watch this. If I hit, I believe it's both of these at the same time, it's going to print out a longer report. Try to keep this because I know there's definitely some stuff on this. Yeah, we've got everything here is passed and excellent. And I have to do this. This is 3 pages, by the way. Here, actually, let me just black out some of this. Give me a second. Hey, you just saw it. This came out and it says the printer is not connected to the internet. And then you saw me press both buttons and this 3-pager just came out. And look at this. Internet connected. 2 conflicting reports with this printer, but we know it's connected to the internet because all of the function says that it is. One of the reports says that it is. And when I used the cartridge that came out of the other printer, even though it was an Instant Ink cartridge, it instantly reported straight to HP and they emailed me within seconds. I mean, you saw how that happened instantaneously, which is amazing on its own. So this is working as it should. My opinions might be changing here because I no longer have the warning light or the warning indicator up here that there's something going on that shouldn't be. Okay, so maybe a little happier with the printer overall. That's pretty awesome, but all this is raising another question. I just received my Instant Ink. I have the spare color one here, but also I have from the 2742E the unsealed color cartridge. I'm wondering, this will be 100% proof. Tech support told me that these are locked to the printer that they're shipped for, but I'm suspecting, just how things usually work, I'm suspecting that rather than these being programmed before they're shipped, because I see these for sale on eBay, and I've always wondered, if they're locked to the printer, how can people buy an Instant Ink cartridge and use it? Because it would be no good. Obviously, this one didn't work, but it had been inserted into a printer. I think my suspicion is that it's when they're put into the printer, then it reports to HP, and then it locks the cartridge to that printer. My hypothesis here is that I will be able to put this one, which was from the old printer but not used on the old printer since it hadn't been opened, put it in here and it's gonna work. The only way to find that out is gonna be to print a lot of stuff. I have a full color cartridge that's printed a few pages of color stuff. I'm gonna find something colorful that's no black, and I'm gonna print and print and print. Well, let's find out. This is what I decided to print. It didn't have any black in it, so it was pulling solely from the color ink cartridge. And I was able to get 19 of these. And then this page, and you can see down here, it started showing signs of low ink, and I wish I would have screenshotted it, but I actually got a prompt on my phone, which tells me the reason I didn't get a prompt on this is because it was the non-Instant Ink version. So it's only the Instant Ink versions that give me a prompt. So that's taking away one negative notion I had about this printer, and also why that light was illuminated. So we know that was the sole reason for this light being illuminated. I got the notice that the ink was low. I kept going and I was able to get 2 more, but you can see the color difference. There is a significant color difference, dwindled rapidly until it just quit printing. And I received an error on my display. So this gets to the good point. I'm liking that this went way faster than I thought. And by the way, that's not all this thing is printed. There have been multiples of these, a lot of stuff like this. Remember these little pages I was folding up? I have done dozens and dozens of these. They have color in them in a few places. And I have these, multiples of these have been printed. You'd be surprised. You get solid bars, that starts taking up some ink, but it gets us to a point that I wanted to be at just faster than I thought I was going to be at it. We get to find out if this 2742E, the old printer's instant ink cartridge, will work in this printer. If my theory, my hypothesis is correct, and to show that there's no trickery, remember, I had labeled this, and I had the color cartridge for that, and I wrote on the bottom, on camera. So let me get that out of the way. We'll get this one opened up and get it put in the printer. You're going to see 2 ink cartridges changed in one video. How about that? Lower this camera just a little bit here. Must have it on cinematic or something. The focus keeps changing. Lay that there. I need my coverer for this serial number. And it's not from you guys that I'm hiding. I just don't want HP to isolate me down as an individual here, though they can probably go by the ink cartridge changings. So let's get this, get the old one out. And these will look identical. I was gonna say these would look identical, but this is the official, like you would buy in the store. This is the instant ink. Let me get this tab pulled off here, and these have so much more ink in them. I don't wanna waste this one. Maybe at some point I'll print that exact, unhook the other cartridge. I'll print those exact same pages again and see what yield we get out of these, and it'll be a lot more. So let me get this shut back. Let it do its thing here. And we'll find out if this cartridge is gonna work. Okay, it's starting. I think it's gonna accept this cartridge. It's looking like it is. What's gonna happen now is it's gonna print that alignment page again. It's getting it booted up. Oh my gosh, this is gonna work. So I have just proved why I see these on eBay, because it's not tied to the printer until it goes into the printer. That's why this black one, even though it's full, or 3/4 full, however much, I just used it, but I can't use that in this printer. Oh look, it finished where it stopped. It's printing those pages. Okay, I'm gonna stop this. Nope, that was the alignment page, something that I need. Okay, I'll skip past all this alignment stuff and all that, but it's doing its job and printing, and that is with the ink from the other printer. That worked. So I was able to confirm a lot here. First and foremost, an ink cartridge that is inserted into a printer at that point gets locked to the printer. Even if it's an instant ink cartridge, it's not assigned to a printer until it goes in, at least at the time of this video, until it goes into the printer, because I was able to replace this one with the cartridge from my old printer, the 2742E, and you saw it. It's working. And just to double verify here, this is the new cartridge. I'm using the black one that came with this shipment, but you saw me right on this. This is the new cartridge, the one for the subscription to Instant Ink that was transferred to this printer. So there you go. Once it's put in, it won't work in another printer, even if it's a subscribed to Instant Ink printer. If it is not, you're free to use it on any instant ink printer, at least as far as I see it. Pretty good. And how about that shipment timing? 5 days. I had an ink cartridge at my door before I depleted this one. Had I have just checked my mail earlier, could have saved myself some time on a previous video. Very good. HP Instant Ink, even more impressive to me. I'm very happy, and I've answered some of my own questions. Comment below if you have any more. Thanks for watching.